We've got some more Audemars Piguet watches that we're going to be talking about today. These come from the Millenary collection. It was launched in '95 with the Royal Oak and the Jewels Audemars. Stick around to find out more. Welcome back. Like I said, this is a collection that was launched in the mid-90s. Of course, as with most watches in this world, they continually upgrade them, tweak them a little bit, change the design, but largely through and through, the watches have a similar theme and design that, carries from generation and model to model. Now, I've got two different watches here, but they both have some similarities. They both are they have a 39.5 millimeter case, but because it has like an oval shaped case, it does wear a little bit smaller. So I know 39.5 can really, jump out as a larger number, especially for a lady's watch, but it wears more like a 36. So it does have a very nice wrist presence without, overstating its boundaries and taking away from the rest of the overall appearance you're going for. Now, of course, aside from the oval case, the most notable feature about this watch is going to be the off-center dial. It really does give it like a neoclassical vibe, something that allows you to get some perspective on just the concept of balance. It's more than just a watch that tells time. Now, of course, the watches are different. I'm going to get into it. There's some big differences in the movements themselves, but I do really want to talk about a little bit more about the collection. It's very instantly recognizable. Obviously, it's a unique piece. It's not every day that you see a watch where the font changes depending on which part of the dial you're looking at. Of course, with an ovular case, you're going to need that in order to fill up the space without having it look too busy. Audemars Piguet, AP for short, did a really great job of that in both of these watches. And you'll notice that aside from the exquisite detail in the dial itself, there are a lot of other elements about the case that give it just some really artful extras. It's just it's more than just a plain, simple case. There's a lot of fine details that go into it. For starters, on the lugs in the case, you'll notice that it has like a step design, right? So it overall has the same shape, right? You've got the case, you've got a crown that protrudes from the 3 o'clock, and you've got lugs on both the north and south side, the 12 and 6, that, protrude from the case. But if you look closely, it's not all just, one dimension. I mean, it actually raises up not only where you can see it, but you can feel a pretty big difference between the top part of this lug and where the case is. Of course, Audemars Piguet did fit both of these watches with a lot of diamonds, 66 and the one that just has it in the bezel. If you get one of the ones that has the skeleton dial, it's also going to come with the diamonds on the lugs and as well as the case. This one's going to have a little bit more, coming in at like 116. Of course, the movement. I mentioned that there's a big difference in it. Most notably, this is an automatic movement, whereas the skeleton dial is going to be fitted with a manual wind or hand wound movement. Now, they also decided to fit this watch with an exhibition case back, and you can see there's just so much detail. It is a gorgeous piece. Of course, this isn't a part of the watch that you'd normally see. It's going to be the part that's on your wrist, but I just find it so easy to admire the watchmaking and level of intricacy that goes into designing and making one of these watches. Now, the caliber itself for this watch is going to be a 5201. Of course, that number is not really important. The things that you are going to want to know, it's got 19 jewels in it. It's got a 49-hour power reserve. It beats at 21.6. That's going to be like the frequency or the vibrations per hour. And they both of these watches are going to have a 20-meter water resistance rating. Of course, we've talked a lot in diver watches about that rating. So the fact that it has a 20-meter resistance does not mean you should like hop into a pool that's 60 feet deep, swim to the bottom, and you'll be okay. No, it's far from that. 20 meters means there's a tiny little element of water resistance. It's not something you would want to get pushed in the pool in. It's not something that you'd want to wear while you're washing your hands. But if you got caught in the rain just running between buildings, you wouldn't really have to be worried. But I would, once I got inside, I would want to dry it off and make sure no water got inside the case. Now, on this one that has the automatic movement, this is going to be the 23-25 caliber movement. And of course, because it has that automatic rotor that spins around, as technology has developed over time, they have increased the efficiency of that. So not only does this watch have 32 jewels in it, of course, those jewels help, reduce the friction of the parts that are moving inside, but it also has ceramic ball bearings. It's obviously not something that used to be around, in times past, but nowadays with the technology that we have, they're able to make these types of improvements that just give it a longer life. Now, this watch has a 38-hour power reserve and it beats at 28.8. Now, I know this one had 49 and this one only has 38, but this is an automatic. Well, the way that they determine the power reserve of the watch is not while the automatic module is being activated. That's going to be just kind of stationary, seeing how long the movement will work. If you're wearing the watch regularly, it is going to go above and beyond that 38 hours. Again, this watch also has the 20-meter water resistance, so same as this one. Don't really want to get it too wet. Of course, Audemars Piguet did add a couple of extras. This one, obviously you can see it has a blue dial and a blue strap, but it also has a blue cabochon fitted with it. The rose gold version is very similar, but it's going to have more of like a pink tone. Of course, it blends very well with the rose gold that you'll find in the case. So if you're looking for a watch that's going to be instantly recognizable, but not, super out of the budget, I mean, it is an AP, so you are kind of in the Audemars Piguet price range, but this isn't a watch that's going to set you back six digits or anything like that. It's something that is attainable. It's something that you could get. It will be recognized, not only by just like watch enthusiasts, but anybody that has a decent grasp on the watch community and watches that, are out in the world as of today. And of course, if you're around people that are not into watches, they're going to recognize it. They may not know what it is, but they're going to recognize it as being a beautiful piece. They'll see the intricacies, even if they're not a watch person. I mean, it's just, if you're into art at all, this watch is fantastic, and it's one that I highly recommend adding. So come take a look at them here at SwissWatchExpo before they're gone. These are APs, so they're not something that we get every day.